Konnichiwa, and welcome to the Pals Anime Lounge, a podcast where a bunch of pals get together to talk about anime. The pals are Gorz.
Hi, I'm a mad scientist.
And Jack.
I am the resident super hacker.
And I'm your host, Ace. Apparently I knit. Artura isn't here because she lives in Colombia, where they just had a major earthquake. She's safe, but the entire country was affected, so we're sending her our well wishes, and we are thanking Jack for stepping in temporarily to help.
I am a horrible substitute, but I am here.
It's good to hear they're okay.
In today's episode, we are talking about Steins Gate, a series from 2011. I chose this one because they just rebooted the original game with Steins Gate Reboot, with weird punctuation, having just come out on PC, PlayStation 5, and both Switch consoles. As it's a series, we'll be covering it using a 3-episode rule, where we'll make blanket statements about the entire show after having watched just over an hour of it. It was animated by White Fox, the studio behind Goblin Slayer and ReZero Starting Life in Another World. Steins Gate currently has an AniList score of 89%, making it the highest scoring anime we've covered on this podcast.
Ooh.
Cyberpunk Edge Runners had 85%, and both Hell's Paradise and Fate's Day Night Heaven's Feel 1 Presage Flower were at 80%. So if you remember me saying that something scored high recently, that was a couple episodes ago, Hell's Paradise. Steins Gate is the second game in the science adventure visual novel series from developers Mages and Nitro Plus. The first title was Chaos Head, and there have been 7 main entries and a bunch of spin-offs. Steins Gate released in 2009 and has had multiple ports and re-releases before this new remake. There's also been manga, light novels, drama CDs, a movie, stage play, a board game, and an internet radio show. And apparently there's a live-action TV show currently in production, though it's been 6 years since that was announced.
Or did they announce it like next week and it just went back in time?
Oh.
Topical.
My short synopsis is, a mad scientist isn't much of a scientist. Goes?
Unsolved mysteries, government conspiracies, bright lights in the sky, alien technology.
What was that to the tune of?
It's a song. It's lyrics from a song.
Oh, I thought you were adapting.
That.
And Jack.
Steins Gate is a multi-episode advertisement for DK Pepper, the intellectual drink for the chosen ones.
Donkey Kong Pepper?
Yeah. Look, the guy drinks about 3 DK Peppers in 2 episodes. I'm calling it like I see it.
We open on Rintaro Ocarina Okabe narrating, though I couldn't concentrate on what he was saying because of the cicadas.
My second note on my whole list of notes is bloody cicadas.
He's interrupted by someone who stares directly at the sun once he leaves. Ocarina speaks into his massive mobile phone and says that he's infiltrating now, and says, El Sai Kongru. Those words do come up later. I didn't bother writing them down. It's a code phrase that he says to himself.
I was convinced the guy's just recording his weird podcast in the manosphere, but I forgot it was 2000 something.
2010.
Yeah, close enough.
You know, there's a popular urban legend that kangaroo actually means I don't know. Maybe it's related.
Maybe he doesn't know.
We should talk all conspiracy theories during this episode, whenever something comes up.
Ocarina and his buddy enter a classroom which has a banner across the whiteboard saying Dr. Nakabachi's Time Machine Invention Press Conference. Suddenly the building shakes, so Ocarina runs upstairs to the roof and peeks out, seeing a small structure with someone waving their arms in the air. His phone suddenly buzzes, so he heads down to where his buddy is checking out some gachapon. Her name is Mayuri Mayushi Shina, and she's out of change, so she can't get the one she wants. He refuses to give her money and buys one himself. It's a metal Oopa, a very rare one.
Ooh. Wow.
This is also a lovely bit of exposition dialogue where the main character just says, "Even though we've known each other since we were kids, I'm not giving you money."
Honestly thought he was going to bin it or something. But he gives it to Mayushi, so she thanks him, but he tells her to use the name Hyoin Kyoma. She refuses.
Related to the Oxford comma.
A bell goes and they head to the press conference. Well, Ocarina does. He attends but gets angry when he realizes that the theory in the provided booklet was stolen from an internet post made a decade earlier. He accuses Nakabachi of stealing from John Titor in front of everyone, but is led away by Kurisu Makase. She asks what he was going to tell her 15 minutes ago, but he appears to not know what she's talking about. So he accuses her of being an agent for the organization and grabs his phone, repeating the claim. Kurisu takes the phone and there's no phone call, and it's actually turned off. She asks again what he was trying to tell her, so he calls her his enemy, then runs off laughing.
He does that a lot.
I got the feeling he's kind of a maniac.
Teeny bit, yeah. Teeny tiny bit.
He's very trustworthy.
A couple of floors down. Actually, it appears to be half a floor down because we see the number 7 on a wall below him, and he's just come from floor 8. Anyway, he stops to catch his breath, and his phone receives an email with an attachment. He watches part of the video, which is filled with static, but Mayushi arrives, looking for her metal Oopa, which she's misplaced. Ocarina tells her to just give up until she reveals that it's worth 10,000 yen. His fantasizing about spending that money is interrupted by masculine screaming, so he runs back upstairs and finds Kurisu laying in a pool of blood. So why was there masculine screaming?
Janitor doesn't want to do his job.
Well, when I scream in terror, it usually sounds feminine, so...
Ah, no notes. Later, while walking on a street crossing with Mayushi, Ocarina writes an email to Daru about the murder. He hits send, and something happens, and he suddenly finds himself alone on the now deserted street, until he comes across Mayushi. She doesn't know what he's talking about when he asks where everyone went, but his freakout is paused by rubble hitting his shoulder. He looks up and finds a satellite embedded in the top floor of the building next to him.
There's a bit in this interaction when he speaks to Mayuri where he says out loud, "I just saw a dead body on the 8th floor." And then we cut to Mayuri, who just has a pleasant smile that I found weirdly hilarious.
We get the episode titles. This is about 10.5 minutes into the episode, and there's unexpected nudity.
Also, a banger opening.
Yeah, it's not bad. We return on Ocarina insulting the viewer. But it's not a fourth wall break, it's a commercial for his lab, the Future Gadget Lab. He introduces himself and both of his assistants, Mayushi and Itaru Daru Hashida. But actually, it turns out he's just talking to a TV and not a camera. So why is he promoting his lab to Mr. Llama?
Mr. Llama's got mad cash.
Mr. Llama's an angel investor. The three have a philosophical discussion before Daru changes the television channel to the news, where they're talking about the satellite crash. Ocarina suddenly remembers going to the press conference, then everyone disappearing before the satellite crashed. He's told that he wanted to go and check it out after seeing it on the news, and that the press conference had been called off before that. He blames the organization for messing with his mind, then realizes that this must be Steins Gate. Before they can elaborate on what that is, the TV breaks, so he takes it to his landlord, Yugo Tanuji, to repair.
Also known as Mr. Brown.
Yugo tells him 2,000 yen and then tells Mayushi that she's wasting her time with Ocarina. She's nonplussed and says that she's his hostage.
I thought she said he's her hostage.
Did I misread it?
I got the impression she implied being his hostage, but I might be wrong.
Well, we don't learn any more about this hostage situation because we cut to a park where she gives Ocarina a bottle of Dr. Pepper. Sorry, DK Pepper. And he tells her, and he comments that it's an intellectual drink. I like Dr. Pepper, but I think, honestly, that he's only drinking it because it has doctor in the name.
Yes.
Excuse you, it is a intellectual drink for chosen ones. Get your facts straight.
It reminds me of a line from Scrubs where Dr. Cox goes, "Are you a real doctor or are you a doctor like Dr. Pepper is a doctor?"
At the lab, Ocarina announces that Future Gadget 8 needs deploying because the landlord has been taken over by the organization. Said gadget is a microwave, which you program by calling it with your phone.
That's very. I hope it catches on.
How do you weaponize that?
Microwaves.
It's
You wait for someone to want to heat up a dinner in their microwave, and then you mess with it so that it gets burned. That's how you weaponize it. Use your phone. You hack their Wi-Fi so you can control their microwave.
The phone microwave turns a bunch of bananas into green gel and apparently once froze some fried chicken. Ocarina says that it's caused by Steins Gate, but they wind up bickering and we cut to Daru and Ocarina heading to university.
I somehow thought that the whole microwave thing was a gag, but as we'll see in further episode, it is very much not.
Yeah. It is plot relevant.
Yeah, you thought you might see a stapler in Jello.
Nobody watched The Office. Stop making Office references. You know, critical award-winning sitcom The Office. Nobody watched it. Ocarina finally remembers the email that he sent about the murder and finds that it went backward in time by a week to Daru. The doors to the elevator open and Kurisu is leaning against a nearby pillar. And we get the credits with unexpected nudity.
Or is it expected nudity now?
I mean, I didn't expect it in the opening or the ending. After the opening, I should have expected it. I'll be quite honest, but episode 2 opens where we left off, with Ocarina trying to work out if Kurisu is a ghost, which angers the alive woman. And we get the titles. We open back on Ocarina sat in a lecture being run by Kurisu on this subject: are time machines possible? She quickly states, no, they are not, and that she is about to talk about how she reached that conclusion, but is interrupted by Ocarina objecting.
I liked how, I think she comments something on the lines of, I was asked to talk about time machines, though my article in the Science Journal was nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
But, if you're a scientist, of course you know everything about science. Additionally, I find it anime that the reaction to a lecturer seeing a person that recently assaulted them in their lecture hall being, let's humor them.
Yeah, you're acting kind of like a stalker. Let's discuss this. No, she agrees to debate the issue and completely obliterates him. So he decides that she's an agent of the organization, which, he decided before she was murdered. Anyway, his phone rings and we cut to a shrine where he finds Lukaku Rushibara with Mayushi supervising her sword practice. Mayushi called because she needs Ocarina to carry some bags of corn back to the lab. There is a clear attraction between Lukaku and Ocarina, but the latter keeps reminding himself that the former is a guy. Reminds me of a line from Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged.
Which one?
Just f*** already!
something about Mayuri, the support character, or the secondary character, is like many cutesy characters in anime, she has a bad case of Elmoing. So instead of saying I, she will say her name, which I
Ugh,
find a bit infuriating.
yeah.
Well, which eye? There's so many eyes in Japanese language.
The third one.
No, like literally, there's so many. You can say watashi or boku or whatever else, right?
I was playing the latest update for Arknight's Enfield last night, and they've introduced a new character, as they often do, and she keeps saying her name, but she also says I, and Ace was getting annoyed at that.
Why so many words where few words do job?
I've been rewatching The Office lately.
That's not from The Office, is it?
It is.
Huh? But it's true.
Ocarin returns to his lab and sees Yugo interviewing Suzuhara Amane to do part-time work at the TV repair shop. I had a good laugh at the introduction. This is Okabe. No, my name is Hayu. Shut up. I'll double your rent. It's Okabe.
I had a little laugh at that as well. One thing we didn't touch on was in the interim, Mayuri and Okabe are having a little walk carrying the corn, and they stop at the radio tower bridge, which is out of use because of things that happened. And Mayuri takes out a chained pocket watch out of the dress and shorts that do not have pockets. It bothers me. Anyway, sorry, keep going.
It could be clipped onto the sleeve. Anyway, he goes inside his lab and verifies that the press conference cancelled and Kurisu was not stabbed, and then finds internet posts from John Titor. They detail that you can meet yourself in the past, but that would move the world lines, creating a parallel timeline. Ocarin mutters to himself about how John Titor had whipped up a media frenzy with his claims to be a time traveller from 2036, with multiple books published about him. But when he goes to find them online, there are barely any internet results for the name, and nothing about the books. So he checks his own bookshelf and finds that he doesn't even own them anymore, that is. He calls Daru to ask about the books, but Daru has no idea who John Titor was.
It was at this point in the anime I was shocked and surprised we hadn't seen any blue butterflies yet.
We used them all up in blue reflection. Sorry.
Ah, yeah, that makes sense.
Used up all the blue dye. We couldn't make blue ones anymore.
It makes sense. You also skipped over Okabe doing an amazing backhanded corn throwing pass on the stairs.
Yeah, actually, that was good.
It's the little things.
Can I have corn? No. Runs up the stairs, chucks at one.
Chucks one while going up the stairs backhanded, and the person, of course, catches it perfectly. The guy should play football.
American football.
Yeah,
Or
football is played
rugby.
with feet. God damn it, Jack.
Well, what does a goalkeeper do?
I don't know. I don't watch football.
Yeah, Jack. You're wrong either
Oh.
way.
Aw, can I at least have some corn?
Yes, but you have to go hunt it yourself.
Oh man.
We cut to the morning where he remembers asking the person posting as Titor himself about the year 2000, but Titor said he's never been there. At a street crossing, someone takes his photo, so he stops them and asks them to delete it. She says that she's been taking photos of everywhere she's been today, and then shows him a photo of an old computer, asking if he knows what it is. He says no, but Daru might. But he won't tell her how to contact Daru. Then she shows the photo she took of him. Well, a photo that she took of him, because it's from the opposite side to which she was standing. She photographed the left side of his face from the right side of him. Got one of the magic cameras. He agrees to get Daru to look at it, so she'll delete the photo. Then we cut to May Queen Nyan Squared, where a restaurant apparently, where Ocarina is greeted by Mayuri, who works there, along with Faris Nyanyan, who wants to join the lab, but Ocarina won't allow it because it's too dangerous.
No girls allowed.
Except for the two girls. Okay. Certain girls not allowed. No, it's a no homers club.
Exactly.
Ocarina sits with Daru and shows the computer photo, and he identifies it as an IBN 5100. And it looks similar to an IBM 5100 if you look that up.
Well, that's from a different word line, so they changed the letter.
And moved the screen from the middle to the side.
It was about at this point in the anime, I started going back through every character interaction and coming to the conclusion there's not a single normal line in the whole thing.
The blackmailer, whose name is Micah Kiryu, emails and he replies about the computer. Back at the lab, Ocarina tells Daru that he analysed the gel bananas at a lab, and not his lab, incidentally, and can confirm that they were no longer bananas.
Dun dun dun.
They were grapefruit.
They fiddle with the phone microwave and put a single banana in it instead of a bunch, and it disappears. They bicker a little before looking at the rest of the bunch, where the gel banana is now reattached. Before they can finish freaking out, Karisu makes her presence in the lab known, and the episode ends.
Because basically anyone can just walk in.
What's a lock? You know, the organization broke his locks. That's it.
True. And I mean, Kurisu is supposedly a super mega genius. And I can probably ask in the university, hey, who's that weird guy with the lab coat? And that just points her in the right direction.
Episode 3 picks up immediately with Kurisu saying she did knock. Ocarina calls her a bitch out of nowhere, then talks to himself on the phone, mentioning Steins Gate, which Daru finally confirms is just nonsense. She explains that she came to find out more about this alleged stabbing, but the gel banana is more interesting. And then we get the titles. We return to the lab, and Kurisu is checking out the banana, going as far as to jab her finger into it. She suspects that it has something to do with the phone microwave, which Ocarina denies and attempts to hide. I mean, it's not a huge leap. They were both standing next to it when she walked in. Daru suggests she might be able to find out what the invention is doing. Shouldn't they know? They built it.
This is also the part of the episode where they say perverts about 5 times per sentence.
They do.
For about 10 minutes.
Yeah, I glazed over that. If you... Maybe glazed isn't the right term to use in this instance.
Heyo!
I avoided talking about that. But yes, my next note actually... Ocarina laughs and tells her that she must join the lab and she must forget about any sexual harassment he's done to this point. To his credit, he does say to the up to now, meaning that she doesn't have to forget about future sexual harassment.
Yeah, but
and then he'll tell her about the phone microwave.
Yeah, but the way time works in this show, that might be meaningless.
She agrees, and he names her Christina. Mayushi arrives at the lab to find the three deep in discussion about the invention and its subsequent experiments.
He has fried chicken.
Ocarina is surprised to hear that when he sent the message about Kurisu's murder, Daru's phone was hooked up to the microwave. They put something in to test, and Daru sends an email. But then Mayushi opens the microwave, and that causes Ocarina to dive on top of her, and the other two get back as the microwave sparks and there's an explosion. While the desk itself has broken in half, the microwave and computer next to it seem no worse for wear.
This is what happens when you try to reheat fried chicken.
Ocarina checks his phone and finds that the message arrived a week ago. Since the banana returned to the bunch and the email went back in time, he reasons that that means the phone microwave is a time machine. There's a time skip, and Ocarina wakes to find multiple emails from Morika, the computer girl. Apparently, the phone microwave hasn't caused any time travel all night, and it's not even making gel bananas anymore. Daru tells Ocarina about the Large Hadron Collider at CERN for some reason, and this interests him so much that he tells Daru that he has to hack into CERN.
It was at this point I wrote down, oh no, I hope the Large Hadron Collider doesn't turn into an anime girl.
Is that because Daru called it
Yes.
LHC Tan?
Yes, exactly. And I wouldn't put it past any anime these days to do it, so my fears are founded. Also, I did not ping CERN as being the big bad guys.
No, that was a surprise. Especially since it turns out they are actually up to something dodgy. It's not like, hey, hack into this company that has nothing to do with anything.
You may bring this up in a bit, but as they go through like things they find, one of the posts said something along the lines of World War III in 2015, which, wasn't too far off.
Outside of the lab, Ocarina gets into a conversation with Suzuha, who, it turns out, has been listening in on them because she's just so bored. Ocarina gets another message from Moika, which gets Suzuha talking about John Titor wanting an IBN 5100. Ocarina suddenly races to his computer and ends up being given Titor's email address. There's a time skip, and Mayushi brings some snacks to the lab, finding Ocarina just coming out the shower and Daru hard at work hacking. Daru's hard work pays off, and he's in. Sorry, sunglasses, he's in.
Hacker-Man.
While there's no outright mention in the hacked emails of a time machine, they do find Z program repeated many times. And one such email mentions that human is dead. And the episode ends.
Ah, that was something I found hilarious. Mr. Hackerman uses basically Google Translate to translate all of the texts, which are English. Except for some reason, the sentence human is dead is not translated.
I mean, that entire email, I managed to pause it. It flicks up on screen for like 4 frames at a time. I managed to pause it. And that entire email is in English still. But yeah, the words human is dead are scarier than the Japanese words human is dead.
Must be just a. I mean, it must be like a cultural thing. It sounds cool when it's in a foreign language. Human is so dead, though.
So, has this made you want to check out Steins Gate Reboot? Gorz?
Kinda. The show was a bit nonsensical, but I was intrigued.
Okay, check.
Based on these 3 episodes, I'm a bit unsure. There is a lot of potential, but I feel like they take quite a long time to get to the meat of the plot, if you know what I mean. They hint at the time travel and how it works, but they don't really get into it. And honestly, I found the gel banana microwave more intriguing than the central mystery so far.
Well, it
That's fair.
surely is the part of it.
Yes, it is, and don't call me Shirley.
Maybe you need to cover your body. You need to get naked and cover your body in gel to time travel.
Personally, I don't have 40 hours to go through all of these world lines, storylines, to get the true ending. But yeah, I've said before, visual novels aren't really my thing. for some reason, I always fall asleep trying to play them, and I cannot explain it.
If nothing else, it was nice to actually see it. I've heard of Steins Gate a lot. My wife likes it. And I've heard the theme song so many times in different kinds of situations, but never actually checked it out.
So, is it a yata, nani, or a baka? Gorz?
Yata. For the stuff I already mentioned, it's a bit nonsensical, but yes, there's a lot of I feel like in episode 3 it started to come together, and I start getting used to the unreliable narrator.
Ha 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 ha.
Ha ha ha.
And Jack?
For me, it is a nani. I was a bit uncomfortable with all of the hey you are a pervert jokes. And even though I kind of liked the main character, I also didn't like him. If I had someone to watch with, I'd keep watching, but otherwise it's a bit of a nani.
It sounds like it's not nani, it's both yata and baka.
Yes.
Which makes it a nanny.
I feel like there's a distinction, but yeah, I agree to disagree. Let's
call it a saucy baka.
I gave it a yata. I'd like to watch more. For whatever reason, Steins Gate 0 is on Crunchyroll, but not this, which is weird. So does this deserve its AniList score of 89%? Again, the highest we've ever watched.
I think so.
Based solely, and I will unblind this, so fans of the series do not come get me. Based on the 3 first episodes, I would disagree with the Ani score, but I'm sure this is one of those stories where the further in it goes, the better it gets.
Yeah, I agree. It's a bit high from what we've seen, but if it sticks the landing, then yeah, I can see it being rated highly.
I didn't see anything. I would say it was objectively bad, like animation or sound design. Nothing bad there, and like actually the visual direction was quite bold with the use of colors. It's even though they depicted like common urban areas, the angles and the use of color made it seem surreal.
Agreed, though the thing that bothered me a tiny bit, though it may just be me watching the series on a bit of a deadline, was whenever there was a time skip, I was a bit thrown on how much time had gone by, if you know what I mean. Like
Yes, hard agree. The when we come back and he's been hacking for 2 days. What? How?
yeah. And then within the span of the same episode, there is one person, like we said, being hired by the landlord to be an assistant, and what feels like 5 minutes later, she's gotten bored with the job and has been eavesdropping on the main characters.
That's just youth these days.
True. They don't have their TikTok.
Short attention spans.
And it's not a deal breaker or anything. It's not egregious. It's just weird.
Okay, well, that about brings us to the end of this episode. Thank you for joining me, Gorz and Jack.
Thank you.
And thank you for listening to the Pals Anime Lounge, and better yet, thank you for subscribing wherever you found this episode. You can find more from us on GameGrin.com, finding us on social media, or listening to the Grincast podcast. Sora Dewa, game on.